Mr. Investor, welcome back to the channel, baby. Today we're going to be talking about some very interesting topics. Bingo institutional ownership and how the big money is playing the game. C-19, this is going to be a big topic today we're going to talk about, and it's all about the new variants that are cropping up, potentially another lockdown, and how Bionano Genomics is playing its part. There's also been a lot of stuff coming up now about our data being sold in England. So GP practices in England are being ordered to hand over our data to NHS Digital, and this can potentially be exploited and sold for corporate profit. If you're new around here, welcome cowboys. My name is Miguel and we look for some big juicy growth stocks. If you're able to support me, please click the join button above my head. It's only 99 cents a month, but if you're unable to, just you hitting the like and clicking subscribe is enough for me. Happy Friday to everybody, and remember, none of this is financial advice, it's for entertainment only. Okay, first things first, Bionano Genomics Joe Butler retweeted this, and this is important for everybody in England but also across the world, because I think this is going to branch out and a lot of people are going to get their data sold. So he retweeted a tweet from someone called Russ Jones, and he said, "This is quite an important thing for you all to know about. You have until the 23rd of June in England to opt out of your medical records being handed to a body that can make them available for sale. It could affect your entire life." So we're going to go into this. I'm going to explain exactly what this information can mean for everything. When I click into this article, it's going to bleep my face, but just enjoy and let's get into it. Oh goody, I've been bleeped. Okay, so what's going to happen is we have until the 23rd of June. It's just 6 weeks notice. I've been informing all of my friends and family. I've actually opted out already. Some GPs, including Amin Kamlana, she is the author of this Guardian article. As you can see here, she is a GP based in East London and she is an NHS activist. For those of you that don't know, NHS is National Health Service. One of the main things is there's been no public awareness campaign. So lots of people don't even know that their data is going to be sold. So what does all of this mean? What this means in practice is that all of your GP interactions, starting from the time you were born and including many of the most intimate details of your life, are at risk of being sold to corporations, directly or indirectly. To be specific, your data includes details of physical, mental and sexual health, drug and alcohol history, and any family or work-related problems that you thought you disclosed in confidence. This means that people can sell to us whatever they know about our medical history, our whole life, they're able to sell. If they sell this indirectly onto corporations, you could get phone calls. So what happens if your pepino hasn't been working and you've been using those magical blue pills? Well, if your data is sold on to these corporations, they can potentially hassle you. They could give you emails, phone calls, letters through your door, selling the big Viagra to you. Not only that, what if they know that your family has a predisposition for diabetes? That could affect all of your private health insurance claims. That could affect all of your future jobs. So what happens if corporations are then able to sell on your data to potential employers and people can search you up? What if they build out these genetic profiles on people and they understand that you have diabetes in your family, cancer? So when you go for a job, they're like, you know what, this employee is quite sick, he might be off work quite often, and then they don't want to offer you a job. What about if you're suffering from mental health that you don't want to disclose to your workplace, and your workplace is able to access data via third-party corporations or your potential employer, and basically they can screen you and say, you know what, this applicant is quite sick, they might be off work with anxiety, depression, etc. So take a look at this. What's worse, your personal information will not be fully anonymous, meaning it is relatively easily identifiable as yours. You can opt out before the 23rd of June, but the NHS Digital holds on to whatever data it has obtained and it still makes it available to third parties. Then the author also stated in 2016, Google DeepMind established a data sharing agreement with the Royal Free Hospital in London. The hospital was found to have failed to comply with the Data Protection Act in handing over personal information of 1.6 million patients without adequately informing them. Apparently this is a scandal. So whilst sharing health data has the potential to save lives and GP records are the single richest and most valuable source of this kind of information, artificial intelligence and medical research companies can use health data to train machine learning algorithms that can detect patterns, diagnose patients and identify new avenues for treatment. But this can be a mixed blessing depending on how the data and products are made with it are used. So cowboys, the next thing I want to talk about is Queen Mary's University in London, and we know they're using Bionano Genomics Sapphire. So an actual researcher, I think it was a researcher from Queen Mary's, was actually on the radio just a few minutes ago, and they started talking about the C-19 pandemic and a potential third lockdown. They spoke of new variants spreading across England and how these variants can be resistant to the current vaccines that we have. And just recently this has been stated that, you know, the number of new cases are now rising in England again. These guys were currently hiring beforehand behind, I think, a couple of months ago to employ people that actually know how to use optical genome mapping. So I think Queen Mary's, alongside lots of other universities and the Wellcome Sanger Institute, are sequencing and optically mapping out the virus, because there are new variants always popping up. As you can see here, this is what they've been doing, enabling analysis of outbreaks, identifying new variants, and studying patterns of transmission. This body, called the C-19 Genomics UK UK Consortium, actually hit a milestone the other day. They sequenced over 500,000 SARS-CoV-19 genomes. So they said this is a particularly large milestone for them. As we can see here, juicy. So all of these guys are working with institutions that are using Bionano Genomics optical mapping, like Wellcome Sanger. They've been working with loads of doctors and researchers from across the UK and found some amazing results with regards to the new variants that are popping up and genetic predisposition to these variants. So they're connected with all the universities, lots of cytogenetic labs across the UK, from University of Northumbria to University of Exeter, University of Birmingham as well, to try and research and save as many lives as possible. Here's the official statistic. They've got over 600 consortium members. This includes 75 National Health Service sites, 16 universities, 4 public health agencies, and 1 Sanger Institute. And remember, when they're using certain types of machines and getting certain results, a lot of them will be interested and keen as to why this machine is so special and how people are getting strange results and finding these new variants. Within the world of academia, they're all looking to actually excel and find as much out as possible to benefit humankind. And they want to get all of the clout, baby, as much clout as possible for being notorious in academia. If you want to know how they're going super hard as well, they are actually looking through the poo-poo. Yes, they are testing for C-19 by reading signs in the sewage. Ooh, naughty. In other news, I'm going to be attending When Does a Variant Become a Villain? This is about C-19 and the connections. There's also a blog that was released on the 27th of May 2021. It's about genomics in a pandemic and shedding light on the invisible. This was released by Wellcome Sanger Institute, and we can see here, if we scroll down, it talks about the reasons why we sequence genomes. It's easier to design drugs and vaccines. They're quite difficult to track down because many of the genomes are identical. They also explore how efficient these vaccines are and also the transmissibility of a lot of these different variants. Some juicy news that also came out yesterday was the FTC dropping the Illumina Grail court case. Thank you to MOM who shared this. Remember, Illumina tried to acquire Grail and it was blocked. Well, guess what, baby? The Federal Trade Commission, who wants to stop Illumina from making a monopoly in the genomics market, they dropped the court case. It's now clearing the way for an EU investigation. So the $8 billion acquisition of Grail by Illumina has now been postponed until around after September 20th. When I was speaking about Bionano Genomics before, I was talking about how it would be amazing for us to acquire other companies that are reaching into different industries. So Grail, for example, is so desirable. Illumina wants to gobble it up. It's because it's one of several companies competing to develop liquid biopsy tests, which rely on DNA sequencing of blood and other bodily fluids to detect cancer early. So with them going after Grail like this, I wonder, have they put in, they probably have put in bids for bingo. If they're looking for companies that can have this early cancer detection rate, we can find structural variations that no one else can find, which are key to diagnosing disease and saving and helping people's lives. There's literally so much to explore, but I'm going to save it for the next video. I'm actually going to be exploring a lot of the new plans for the UK. I'm going to look into C-19 and everything that bingo has to do with it. Please remember, none of this is financial advice. It's for entertainment only. And if you're able to support my channel, please click the join button above my head. You can join any tier at all and it helps me create good content. But if you're unable to, just you hitting the like and clicking subscribe is enough for me. Thank you so much for all your love and support, and I'm going to catch you in the next video. Mr. Invest a lot, over and out, baby.